What's up, guys? This is Omega Lion. I'm bringing you a gameplay here on WMD using the Kiparis extended mags, perk setup, scavenger, sleight of hand, and I believe marathon. Now, the Kiparis is underused and underrated. It's got a fast fire rate. It has similar power to the 74U and the MP5K, except faster fire rate and less ammo. The extended mags sort of makes up for this lack of ammo by sort of putting it on par with the 74U and whatnot. But it's also the last submachine gun you get, and most people stop at the 74U, so you don't see it very often. So that's basically the Kiparis. I get a good score in this game using it. I forgot to mention my secondary is the CZ Silence. I don't think I get any kills with it anyway, but because I'm using scavenger. But CZ is the best silence pistol. That's pretty obvious. But I'm not really here to talk about the gameplay too much. Now today I actually went on a little trip with some of the kids in my science class, and we went out to this forest. In this forest, we were just sort of looking around. It was pretty much uneventful, but one particular thing interesting happened. Now this forest is just, I'm pretty sure it's on the coast of New Jersey. It looks over the Hudson River, and there's a lot of stuff in this forest, so we saw some snapping turtles, we saw a lot of different animals. But at one point, we were at this little bog area, and, yes, okay, there, for the Huey. We were in this bog area, and we saw some, salamanders that are still in their eggs developing. And as we were walking around, my friend and I, Hydra7, we actually, on the path, we saw a snake, and this snake sort of slid right across, and at first it was like, oh wow, that's just a snake, that's kind of cool, but, at second look, it went over, and then suddenly there were two snakes, and now these snakes, I don't know if they were doing some mating thing or something. These snakes were sitting there, and they were pitch black. These snakes were very, very dark black. And I had never really seen a snake like this before, and I was sort of worried. But so I asked my science teacher, and it turns out these water snakes were actually very poisonous. And when I heard this, I freaked out so bad. I was so scared because, like, had one of those snakes thought I had gotten way too close to it and came up and bit me, who knows what would have happened. So it was sort of just an interesting little encounter on this field trip. But I guess now I can talk about the gameplay a little bit more. Demolition on WMD is an interesting game mode. It's a very easy spawn trapping map, as well as many others. So one of the things that you definitely want to do is try and get to the spawn trap. Be in the front of your team, because the spawns are set. So if you're in the back of your team, you will always be in the back of your team unless you move. The way to sort of cope with this is by using a submachine gun. This is generally a close quarters map unless you run out. That was a big fail. This is a pretty close quarters map unless you set yourself up into situations like running straight down the middle, like you saw one of my teammates just did there. But if you put yourself out to the outskirts of the map, all of the engagements are in the range of a submachine gun, especially the Kiparis. And one thing a lot of people don't know about the Kiparis is it's very low recoil, but it's got a fast fire rate. So it's interesting because the gun has fast fire rate and low recoil, but because it has a fast fire rate, it seems to recoil a lot, but you're also putting a lot of damage out per second. Now, generally when I use a Kiparis, I use rapid fire because I don't use this for as like a big spray kind of gun. I usually go for one kill, reload. But another very, very good combination with the Kiparis is using the extended mags and grip together, or just the rapid fire attachment with steady aim, because I've mentioned this before, steady aim is an extremely useful perk, especially if you're going to be running around. Although I've been sort of switching up the way I play and trying not to run around as much, because you win so many more gunfights if you stop sprinting around corners. Now that doesn't mean stop sprinting at all, but if you don't sprint around corners, I guarantee if you're negative KD, you're gonna start rising. It's really just a good idea to get into the habit, because sprinting, I would say, aside from like the 467 deaths I have from the R6D, almost all of the ones that come from me losing a gunfight, or are there me it being like I'm really cold and I can't handle it, connection failure, actual failure, or me sprinting around a corner. Sprinting around the corner being the main thing there. So if you just get out of the habit of sprinting around the corner, you'll end up with a lot more kills and get a nice Nova Gas kill. There's my at the last kill. We win the game 2-0. Final score 24-5. Nice gameplay with the Kiparis. Comment, rate, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next commentary.